breaking barriers and bridging the gaps between patients and doctors. Welcome to Brainstorming with the Docs and your co-hosts, Dr. Glenn Harrison and Dr. Kolby Condos.
All right, everyone, welcome back to this week's episode of Brainstorming with the Docs. I'm Dr. Kolby Condos, my co-host, Dr. Glenn Harrison. What's going on, pal?
I'm doing good. It was a long day, but how about you? What's going on in your world?
Not much. Mom's got
You had an hour to yourself, a whole hour.
I had an hour to myself, yeah. Did some dishes.
All
the stuff that you should be doing anyways, right?
Well, that's good. That's good. But this is a pretty interesting topic because I think we make decisions in our life every day with choices. So our choices and decisions, and we're always comparing, what is going to be the best decision, whether it's financial or what you're going to do with that 1 hour. You decide to do the dishes, which is very noble of you. But what we're talking about is really comparing, comparing and contrasting of what's a good decision, which is a bad decision, which is short term, which is a long term.
Yeah. So basically today we are going to break down from a statistical standpoint if our healthcare approaches are being cost efficient or effective. And basically when we started this, we started pulling some statistics up to kind of, figure out how we were going to frame this podcast. And yeah, it's quite alarming, and you might want to start rethinking some of your interventions that you're using and be a little bit more proactive than reactive, especially after we lay some of this information out for you. If this is your first time watching or listening, and you find value in the content, please hit like and subscribe, turn on notifications, because we're going to continue to roll out new health related topics each and every week. So without further ado, let's just get after it. So basically, is it smarter to spend money up front on your health, or is it more effective to try to cover the costs of medical interventions later on when you've already developed a disease or long-term health consequence? Yeah,
what can you put off, right?
Yeah,
so
exactly.
Squeak on your car, how long can you let that squeak run? And what is the accumulated costs of it? I think these are, and by human nature is we don't move, we don't react till there's a pain point. And that is, I think it's the biggest burden of humanity is the delayed response to the pain or to the problem or to the discomfort before we move. And I know, well, I'll let you jumble through a few of the statistics we pulled up. Were quite alarming. It was actually very frightening.
Yeah, it was a little bit surprising for sure. I think that I knew that it had gone up incrementally, but I didn't know that it had gone up this much. So some fun statistics that we pulled up. So from 2010 to 2020, the average American wage went up 27%. But the cost of deductibles associated with healthcare plans or insurance plans went up 111%.
That's just in 10 years. And family premiums went up 55%. So literally the cost of healthcare was over double the amount of the wage increase as far as percentage wise. Wow.
Shows you how people can get in trouble with financial situations, especially associated with healthcare costs.
Yeah, and per capita costs that we're looking at here is almost quadrupled since 1980. So in 1980, it was $2,900 per person. In 2018, the stats that we have, it's over $11,200 per person. So the income has not gone up to be able to
5 times
for this. Yeah, it hasn't
gone up 5 times the amount, right?
And another one here, more than 33% of cost is spent on hospital care, 26% is spent on professional services, and pharmaceuticals is 9%. So a lot of administrative costs when it comes to medical intervention. And the interesting thing about medical intervention is it's designed solely or mostly to keep you alive. It's not designed.
It's not designed to keep you healthy or longevity. Yeah, it's
reactive care.
Yes,
it's reactive care. And there's no. I know financial advisors with it that they'll always talk about. They're trying to make a case for paying attention to your finances, and they always compare it to health. And it's so true, but they're entangled amongst one another. I have never met somebody in my clinic. I have never met somebody that that was extremely sick, that had that was in a great financial place.
Yeah,
Ever.
I would agree with that. Oh,
Your
you lost
camera
me.
went out. Yeah, but there you go. So I have never seen that before. I've never seen that before because of the medical bills and the medical costs and the lack of being able to generate money, getting pulled out of the workforce prematurely. So when your health goes down, your finances always will. It's practice. It's guaranteed. It's guaranteed.
Yeah. I mean, you think about it. So say you have, we'll just pick it. Say you have vertigo, right?
Mm-hmm.
And you suffer from vertigo intermittently, and you don't really ever seek proactive treatment, whatever. And then you're missing days of work. You know, you go, okay, I don't want to pay for the cost of this, you know, this healthcare intervention, even though it might help me. How many times could you have paid for that visit or that therapy or that meeting with the doctor, whatever, in the 3 days a month that you're missing for vertiginous like episodes a month over the course of 5 years? You know, if you wait 5 years to get it fixed, how many times would it have paid over if you'd have just went in and got treated and taken care of it rather than waiting and missing, you know, 15, 18, 25, whatever it is, days of work? And that's lost wages or lost vacation time that then you don't get to go, you know, increase your well-being other ways.
And I think on this podcast, we always talk about quality of life and happiness and being able to do the things you want and re-engage with life and family and the world. And that should be priority. But again, most people wait till we're broken. It's just humanity. And we got to start looking at it a little bit. We got a lot differently, because if we really just want to, you know, fall into the abyss of what a lot of people think about when they think of what is a cost and what is an investment. There's nothing that will pay you back more than if you invest in your health, whatever that is. If it's real food, if it's
gym membership,
spending a little bit of gas money to go up in, I don't know, wherever, and go for a picnic, whether you're in the mountains, go in the mountains, go to the ocean, I don't know, something, go to the forest, do something. Because it will pay back. Pharmaceuticals are designed for reactive care. They're not going to pay you back, but hopefully they can get you out of the pickle that you're in. But you better start thinking about the long game, because the band-aids just aren't
yeah, it just doesn't hold forever, right?
Yeah, it doesn't hold forever, for sure. There's some other interesting statistics. You want to get into some of those?
Yeah, so 5% of all Americans that went bankrupt attributed their cause of bankruptcy as health-related costs, and that was as of 2017. Surprise billing, which actually there's been laws in a lot of, actually I think there's a national law now that prevents this from happening, but prior to that, surprise billing is another thing where people didn't know that what they were going to have to pay for, all that kind of stuff, and obviously the hospitals are billing them for everything, so there was a lot of cost there. Yep, 2/3 of all the people who filed for bankruptcy attributed health-related costs as the main contributor. So 5% of Americans contributed over half of the spending, or over half. Okay, let me say this again. 5% of Americans attributed to over half the spending of health-related services as their cause of. I totally messed that up.
But there's been a lot of bankruptcies.
Yes, so there's
and as a result of it, yeah, you know, you were saying in 2019, 2/3 of all people who filed for bankruptcy was due to medical bills.
It was due to medical bills. Yep, and where I got these wrong, right? 5% of Americans spend over half of their wages on health-related costs, and that was as of 2017. Mm-hmm. So one out of every 20 people spends over half of their salary or their yearly income on health-related costs.
And these are costs that aren't going to take care of them.
These aren't proactive measures. Yeah, these are all reactive measures.
That's right. That's right.
So what does all this mean? I mean, it means we're getting more unhealthy. Mm-hmm. The inflation of medical procedures or interventions or pharmaceuticals isn't matching the rate of our wage increases, right? So everything's getting more expensive and we're making not as much money as it's costing in inflation. We're going to require more care because we're unhealthy, and there's more dependency on the current model. So people are sick rather than being proactive about it and preventing it from becoming a chronic issue. they're managing it once it's become chronic.
That's
So
right.
they're dependent on the therapies.
And there's many, a lot of times we look at these numbers, and some people will say, oh, well, they're gouging the medical institutions and pharmaceutical institutions. They're gouging, and yeah, they are. That's part of the reason, but the bigger part of the reason is this insurance model. The insurance model is not free money. It's people paying into insurance. So as we become sicker and sicker and sicker as a society, everybody needs to dig from the cookie jar more, using the funds. So naturally, we're a higher and higher risk populations. Like if everybody gets an offender bender in, I don't know, the city that you're living in, say the Twin Cities, everybody suddenly gets an offender bender. Well, premiums, insurance premiums are going to go up because it's a higher risk population.
Right.
So as we get sicker and our lifestyles get worse, because that's what's going on, it's not getting any better. Some parts of the country, I think, are improving, but as a whole, things are getting worse. So this insurance model is getting worse and worse, more and more expensive. So your insurance costs are getting closer to if you were paying out of pocket.
Right. And if you guys have more questions on the insurance part of it, we actually did a podcast on insurance, so that'd be a good resource for you as well.
That's right. So have insurance for emergency, but don't see it as it's the maintenance model. It isn't. It's a reactive model. And if we think the costs are terrible now, they're only going to go up. Like this is 10 years. What's it going to look like in 15?
Right. And that was
it's exponentially climbing now.
Yeah.
Its population is exponentially growing.
And our population in our country is especially getting older because there was a bigger population too.
That's right.
As that population ages, their expenses are going to get more expensive as well.
Mm-hmm. There's going to be more money going into it. So long story short, focus on your health. Don't focus on survival, but focus on optimizing, and don't wait for a symptom. Be cognizant of it, be focused on it, put it at the top of priority, because if it isn't now, it's definitely going to be later, but it's going to be a lot worse later.
Right. I always tell my patients you want to thrive and not survive, right?
Mm-hmm.
So you want to be proactive about it. It's going to be a lot better for you, not only physically, mentally, but also financially as well.
Yeah. So, if you don't invest now with time or money, you'll exponentially be investing with time or money later.
Yep, absolutely. So I guess this begs the question, how are you approaching your health? Are you focusing on emergency medicines, which are going to require expensive procedures or, expensive medications? Or are you going to be proactive about your health and you're going to try to manage it with eating healthy, exercising,
seeking out information?
Yeah.
Too.
Absolutely.
Right? All of the podcasts, we're at 73 now, something. I think we released as of now, 74 or something. That's just us. There's
tons and tons and tons of information out there.
And I think that might be a problem too, because now information is so abundant.
Yeah. How do you find if it's credible, right?
Yeah. And people get lazy. They have too much information. They don't have to jump in the horse and buggy and, travel 3 days to get to the doctor to tell them that they're, I don't know, drinking too much rum. they can just click a button and get a lot of information. So take the information and don't become just an information junkie, but engage with it
and apply it.
Yeah.
You got it. So I hope you guys got some value out of this. I mean, again, I was extremely surprised. I was completely dumbfounded at the current rate of inflation of medical stuff. And sorry again for that flub up earlier on the statistics. We can drop some links where we pulled a lot of this information from if you guys would like that. And again, if this is your first time listening or watching, please hit like and subscribe, turn on notifications, because we're going to continue to roll out new health related topics each and every week, and share this with your friends, family, and loved ones. And if you'd like to get a hold of us, or you have a topic or a question for us, you can get a hold of us at info@brainstormingwiththedocs.com. You can get on our websites. Mine is www.northlakeschiropractic.com. Dr. Glenn's is www.drgharrison.com. That's got a ton of information on it as well. And stay tuned, because we're going to continue to roll stuff out each and every week.
That's right. Well, thank you, Dr. Kolby. And I won't hold the statistical flubbery against.
All right. I appreciate that.
All right. Talk next time.
All right. Bye.